Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
Well, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Foxchair, on the show this evening. It's JM and Linda. How we doing? JM, how we doing, Linda?
Evening, guys. Yep. All good,
Evening,
thanks. How about yourself?
Evening, JM. Evening, everyone.
Right, I think we'll go straight to the tune, and then we'll have the king, and then we'll say good night.
That'd be better, wouldn't it? We can all get on with our evening.
Well, JM, I think it's only right. Ladies first. Linda.
Thanks for that, guys. Appreciate it.
We're nothing but chivalrous. Is that the right word? Making you teeth. Carry on, Linda.
Right, lad, just give you an overall summary. Woeful.
Whatever you want.
Woeful performance. Shambolic in defence. Overran in midfield. Misfiring up front. And when you don't even match the opposition in desire, work rate, the level of running, you get what you deserve. And that's what happened yesterday.
It's hard to argue with any of that, JM.
No, Linda is absolutely spot on, and it all comes from mentality, and it all comes from the start. And I think people were saying it even from the start. It comes from the manager, the team that's been picked, and then obviously there's only so much the manager can do and how the players apply themselves. Obviously we'll dissect it more, but there's not many players that can say they applied themselves very well at all. And
the only one I gave pass marks, and I think that may have been a 5.5 or 6, was Cantwell.
Tried, didn't he? Without prevailing, kept trying, ran about. Obviously, again, this is what I'm saying about teams and picking. And I know you've got to try, but not great conditions for a player that plays like Cantwell. But he kept trying to do stuff. He kept driving, but like you say, I think that's scraping it, and I think that's just maybe it's more saying not pass marks, but he wasn't as woeful as the rest, was he?
Mm-hmm. You know, I just think it was a symbolic performance. The manager doesn't get away with this. Was that the honeymoon well and truly over, Linda?
I think so. I don't think he's got.
I'm not saying you're a honeymoon expert. I know you're no Liz Taylor, but carry on.
Not quite as many as Liz. No, it's okay to say that that he's done brilliantly up, with the squad that he inherited and the situation that he inherited. It's okay to say that still, right? He has done really well, but he doesn't. He can't get away with any criticism. He must be criticised for yesterday, is what I'm trying to say. And he doesn't get pass marks at all, Ox, either. Not at all, but he doesn't get pass marks. It was just an awful day all round, from the managerial team, the squad, even the players that started and the players that came on. It was just overall one of those days where it was just woeful.
Mm-hmm. JM, in the pre-match show yesterday, we talked about obviously Barisic coming back in, Doyle coming back into midfield. Yeah, Barisic has hardly played and started. Now we understand Bidvan's no fit. Sterling was on the bench, and he could cover either of the positions. And for me, the young boy Doyle, that's a bit flippant. I know he's no young, but the young man Doyle. He looked as if he was miles off it. No, he came on and had a good cameo against Celtic. But there's a difference in starting a game and being involved. I think he had one run when he ran with the ball. And apart from that, the whole game passed him by. No,
I think we're picking on the wrong people.
Others, yeah.
I think we're picking on the wrong people.
Oh, we'll come to that.
Yeah, we can talk about
but the manager.
He's an attacking midfielder, isn't he? He's an attacking midfielder. He's a player. Your spine's. I know his spine's in the middle. You're relying on players to drive you forward so he can play where he's supposed to play.
Let's look at the selection yesterday. They would have been the two big calls. That they were the positions that were up for take. Because as much as we say you could take the leadership through the team, you wouldn't have played Silver nor that. Most of the team, within reason, would have been what people would have picked yesterday. These were the two positions, maybe with Silver up front, were up for debate, yeah?
Yeah, no, I'd agree, but I think
Before the game, yeah?
Yeah, there's only one player you could have spoke about that could have been put in the 11 was Sterling, wasn't it? But he could have played in 3 or 4 positions. That's the problem, isn't it? Seamer's still not played. He could have started Sterling at right mid. He could have started him at holding midfield, either of the positions, or he could have played him at left back, couldn't he? I believe that's fair enough. I think for last week he got maybe criticism, the manager, for playing him at left back where we wanted to get, and he'd argue he got that right because their winger never got a kick. And we went on, to draw, not a great result, but whatever. But to not then play him when he seems to be fully fit, I think it's inexcusable. I personally do. For him not to be on the pitch. Where he was going to play is a different argument, and you could argue that all day. I know some people prefer him in the middle, but there was no argument for me that Sterling should have been on the pitch in some capacity in them conditions on that pitch.
Did the manager get it wrong, Linda, before we go to the performance?
I just think you're right, Ox. I just think there was there was just maybe 2 or 3 positions up for debate. You're right in the fact that some of the other players, the way that they've been playing, didn't really deserve to start, but he's not going to drop them. And I think we've accepted that. I don't know what will happen going forward. But what you guys have just said there, that was the positions that were up for debate. Where you play Sterling, did we bring that Barisic back in? I was quite surprised that Dowell started, right? But when you saw the lineup, you thought, right, Dowell, Lundstrom, Cantwell, that week in a triangle, the 3. If you would have put Sterling in there with Lundstrom, some people might have said that was too defensive against Ross County, and I'm not saying that, but that could have been the way that was perceived, Ox. But the only thing about that is that Dowell's hardly played. And he's not been one for throwing people into a starting lineup that are coming back from an injury, Ox. So he actually did something that that was quite surprising. If that makes sense.
Well, to be fair on the boy Kieran Dowell, I just thought he did look rusty, and I don't want to make this about him because he is coming back from injury, and he played 25 minutes since January.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about it for the game the last week as well. And also, I was very critical of the manager's maybe tactics and selections and choice of subs away at St Mirren as well. I think maybe we're being a touch of the arrogant in the early days of Gerrard here and not playing the conditions and the surroundings. That pitch was made for Sterling to be playing yesterday. A ball carrier, a big lump, a runner. We've got to give ourselves something. And yeah,
where would you play them, JM?
Middle of the pitch.
I agree.
Middle of the pitch.
Linda?
Yeah, I would agree. As I said there, do you want more attacking players in your midfield? But Sterling is actually somebody that does get up and down the park. Because he's had the wee spell out wide right as well, he gets himself into the box. We'll come on. You'll come on to it, the nitty gritty of the game, Ox. But the fact that we were totally overrunning midfield, basically, that amplifies that. That actually tells us that we should have had Sterling in there.
Right, the game's not even started yet, and we've got some talking points and some negatives. And we've talked about some of them in the pre-match show yesterday, but you're hoping you've got enough to get through the game. Well, the game started, and let's be honest, they should have scored with their first attack. Now, maybe that might have done us a favour. It might have done us a favour. However, the alarm bells were there. Giant.
100%. And considering the game had just kicked off, I'd never seen a team that looked so out of shape so early. I don't know if any of you spotted it. Tavernier was running back from almost the left midfield position where he was in the box on the pitch when that ball went across. We just looked at 6s and 7s, and like you say, it was worrying, bar a good bit of tracking back from Seamer, which is impressive considering he's the right midfielder, how he got back. And sometimes you get an early scare and you settle down, don't you? But unfortunately, like the last week, it was a sign for things to come for the rest of the game. No,
and the problem for me is out of possession, Linda. Right for the start, you see it, that Lundstrom's back between and next to the centre halves. Dowell's in front of him's Cantwell. All right, Cantwell's buzzing about, and he started the game. One run, he chased back in the defence. but the shaping in midfield, people can drop it in the inside right, inside left channels, and there's no midfielder there. You're right on top of your defence, and if the fullbacks are caught up the park, you're right through my centre halves, and sometimes it's 4-on-2 going through and goal, and that's against Ross County, and it's happened against every team, and I'm questioning who's looking at the tactics.
Yeah, absolutely, Ox.
We have kept a clean sheet for 6 games.
Yeah, and that's, when you think about when Clement first came in, it was one of the things that we were kind of priding ourselves on. We conceded the odd goal, but I think we've conceded double the number of goals in the last kind of 6 or 7 league games than we did his first 6 or 7. I saw a statistic like that kicking about today. It's just incredible. But you're right, Ox, they don't look as if they know what they're doing. When you think about in the box as well, there's a couple of Ross County players, there's 5 Rangers players, and they're not even picking up. They're not tracking runners either. But J.M. made a great point about Tav there. It made me think, I had to look at it, it made me think that had that come from a corner because Tav was up taking the in-swinger up an hour left as you look at it up at the top end of the pitch. I don't know why he was out of position. And everybody was talking about that, even like on our TV. Gordon Smith, that was the first thing he said, was where was Tavernier? Because it was Seema that picked the boy up at the back post. It's frightening, Ox.
Yeah, the last time we kept a clean sheet was against Hibs.
In the cup?
Yeah, in the cup. And then before that against Hearts. Yeah. But listen, so the game started and we weren't in it, and we had a couple of chances. We started slowly getting a foothold, but nothing spectacular. You're thinking, okay, Silver got the ball, put it across. I think that was the one that Dessers missed when he hit the goalkeeper. I can't remember exactly when that was. Then it was
1-0 by the Dessers chances. It was 1-0 by the Dessers chances.
But then out the blue, we get the goal out of nothing. Let's be honest, we'd had a few corner kicks. The first one, Bonner put it at the pitch. There's an argument for outswinging corners because the shape's all right. But we get the goal out of nothing. I think it was Silver, he did it on, or Seaman, I can't remember now. I raised it to my mind.
Silver got to it at the front post, and then the bloke
back post challenges the boy turns it in. By the way, I thought the boy done that, turned in a man of the match performance for them. We're 1-0 up, and you're thinking, we'll go on and get the second goal here, and this will be fine. Yeah, well, how little did I know, JM?
100%, but I'm sure we'll go on to it in more detail in the individual, unfortunately. But the chances to go and get the second goal, and you're probably sort of about if buts and maybes, isn't it? And taking chances. And when we start looking at it, you never know, it might end up being the story of the season, missed chances. But there was chances to make it 2-0 in that. And let's be honest, although you've got to be honest, they deserve to win the game. It changes the game completely aside at the second bottom. They
if you go 2-0 up against another player, it's upset.
Yeah, I know they scored 3 goals, but it's different. You've got to accept if you score 2 goals. And even though the commentators, I don't know what game they were watching, that wind was still blowing a gale, by the way, which again about playing conditions, but a couple of really good chances. I'd say 1 clear cut and 2 3/4 chances that you should be putting away, and the game's home and done by half time. But we didn't.
Well, you've touched on it. We've had Faitlander. I think I'm going to no miss the boat. I thought John Suter was poor, but the other 3 were back 4 were atrocious. Bonner looked as if the feeling you got is he just didn't want to be there. Maybe I picked up wrong, or maybe I've been overcritical. Tavernier was absolutely woeful in his distribution, his passing, and his positioning. Connor Golson, that boy, just plays up against him, and he just looks as if he's a busted flush. And then you throw in John Suter, he done okay without being great. So that's my back 4. Jack Butland, all right, he lost 3 goals. I don't think he was at fault for any of the goals, and maybe 1 good save. And then
third goal,
maybe, but
he put it in the half, didn't he?
Aye, but
third goal.
There's nobody coming in. He never get any help, did he? He could have done better. I'll give you that. Into midfield, as I said, I thought the game passed Dowell by, and I thought John Lundstrom was atrocious as well, along with Tavernier. So there's the leadership of your team, your so-called leadership. Lundstrom, Connor Golson, and James Tavernier. They were poor. Then you've got Cantwell, we said, we'll give him pass marks. Seamer worked away, done what he done, shows flashes, showed at least a decent assist. Silver, I thought, was poor, and Dessers was atrocious, and he's an inexperienced pro. So you've got experienced pros in Dessers, Lundstrom, Dowell, Tavernier, Golson, Barisic, and they were atrocious.
Yeah, absolutely, Ox. Don't disagree with any of that. And the players that are playing the most, and you would probably call them, as you say, the senior pros and the leadership group. Maybe Dowell's not part of that, but he's got a lot of experience. But Tav, Golson, Lundstrom, Dessers, they're playing every game. And the thing about that is, as well, is that they're quite fortunate that they are playing, and we're starting. We said that we're starting to get players back, and the manager might start to freshen things up, because I think we all wanted a bit of freshness, but they've all gone off the boil at the one time as well, Ox, and that hasn't helped at all. But I would agree with you in the fact that when we got the goal, we got a bit of fortune, and you just thought, right, we've not started well, but we need to then build on that. And I think the thing for me is that the chance that Dessers had, and I hate to go on about him, but I'm going to. That guy, I have never seen him hit a good strike. I've never seen him hit a clean strike at goal. And for a centre forward, that's absolutely awful, right? That chance that he had to put us 2-0 up, if you watch the way that the ball breaks to him, his first touch is atrocious. It's not a proper footballer, I'm sorry, Ox. And then what he nonchalantly does is flicks his foot out at the ball. The goalie makes a good save, but it's not a miraculous save or anything, Ox. I think it was that guy that played against us at Ibrox, wasn't it, when we did the pressure and all that?
Different goalie. We even gave that guy made all his saves the day off.
Right, he did day off, so there you go. Well, maybe he's just as tall. So if he nonchalantly flicks the ball at him, and it's an okay save, but it's just a poor miss. And see Dessers' reaction to that with that grin and that laugh. There was nobody in the Rangers support that was grinning or laughing at that miss, because we know that those sorts of misses and those sorts of chances are going to cost us.
And then you had the one just before half time when he blasts out of the bar. I think it was easier to score, wasn't it?
Again, like Linda said about the touch, it's the technique that's so wrong. Good strikers and finishers, someone like Chris Boyd, obviously, is on the panel. They're not trying to put that anywhere. They know they have to get their knee and their head over the ball. And sometimes it will hit the goalkeeper, but 9 out of 10 times from that distance, you hit it hard enough, it goes in the goal. And Linda's spot on. To see him laughing at that save. You see, if somebody does a good run and does something like Matondo does last week, and it's going in the top bins, and the goalkeeper does, an Alan McGregor style wonder save, you can forgive a great. But the fact is, Dessers went the complete wrong side of the goal with that finish. The whole left side of the goal was gaping. And for whatever reason, he decides he's going to try and flick it with the right foot. I haven't seen an angle. I wouldn't be surprised if it was going wide with how he kicked it. It was that bad. And he had one in the second half as well, by the way, which they said the player blocked. That was going wide. That boy was on the deck outside the goal, and he was missing again. And he managed to hit a boy that was down with a head knock. The little thing. It's inexcusable.
Yeah, and funny enough, I didn't think he was the worst of the forwards yesterday. I thought Silver was actually worse than him in some respect.
Again, reading a room and playing the conditions, like it or not, he's got a lot of talent, and he's the reason why he's been signed, and he's quick and whatever. He's been signed as a striker, being put out at left midfield. He had a shocker last week, and he won a penalty. It wouldn't take a genius in the ground to realise the crowd weren't picking him up. And then he goes to take him and play in that environment on that pitch and whatever. Everyone knew at the start that weren't a game for him.
Yeah.
And you can say they're meant to be footballers, but the point is you've got to be able to.
Are we saying the manager got a lot wrong yesterday? Is that what we're saying collectively, Jaya?
Yeah. Yes, a lot wrong.
Wonder.
He got a lot wrong, but still the players that he put out Right, they played as if none of them had ever played together, and you're talking about a defence. That defence has played together, right? And we should have had enough quality. I know he could have done things differently, but we should have had enough quality to get through that game. And as I said earlier, Ox, this time of the season, it's not about playing really pretty, attractive football. It's rolling your sleeves up and it's matching the opposition, right? For desire.
And winning.
And winning. It's just about winning, but finding a way to win. And they didn't. And it's just, for them to go out and play like that, like, it's inexcusable.
You
got a lot wrong.
You watch your language.
He got a lot.
I can see what you're thinking. Carry on, Jayam.
He got a lot wrong yesterday, right? The manager, right? He did get a lot wrong, but look, the blame don't stop with him. I mean, how he's managed to inherit a squad that's got zero pace, can't pass the ball, not very big. You look at every attribute. We've not got one attribute in that squad, and a lot of it's down to two. Mind your language, there's two blokes that thankfully are no longer with us, but it's not going to be a quick fix. And the beefhead of the manager, I think he's seen it coming for a while, because he has constantly said there will be bumps in the road.
Well, you say there's going to be bumps in the road. Here's a stat for you. The last 7 games we've won 2.
Yeah. And I was also reading a stat about the points compared to Gio and Beale, and there's not many points in it for the opening same amount of games as there. I believe it's about 2 or 3 points between all 3 of them.
No. Mr. Fox has asked if Don Crowley and Ross County get credit. Yeah. For their attitude, their desire, their organisation. Yeah. But what I will question our team and the management is, that's Motherwell and Ross County. Did they think they only had to turn up, Linda?
I wonder if there is some of that, Ox. I really do, because the Motherwell game at home, the way that we actually started that game cost us as well. The 2 goals that we conceded were similar, and then we get ourselves back into it, and it's a mountain to climb. And the way we started the game yesterday was awful, but we got the bit of luck, as we've said, with the own goal. I don't know if these players just thought they could turn up and swan about the place, but I don't know. I think it's partly that, but and as we've touched on, it's the shape or the lack of, and it's also probably, is it a bit of the tactics as well? Because can anybody actually honestly say, looking at that, Ox, what our tactics were yesterday?
I think the theory is that your fullbacks are ahead of your centre halves, and they supplement the 2 in midfield. So if you like, you've got a 2-4-3-1. Does that make sense, J.M.?
Maybe in theory, but
in theory,
it's not. We're playing
going forward, and then when you've got the ball, it should be the wider men in the attack should be supporting along with the 2 sitters are there to sit and cover, and you should have your back position. But it doesn't work.
It doesn't. And to answer your question, I think the problem is we've became too predictable. And although there aren't a lot of good players in the league, there's a lot of smart and intelligent managers in the league, even though they're not dealt with a lot of players. And we are very easy and not only predictable, but it's an easy predictable. We've not got a threat that's going to hurt teams. We've not got pace up the front. We've not got pace at the back. We're not big. You can go man for man with us, and they know their players are going to be quicker than us. So that gives them an out right away. We're easy to pick up. We're easy to play against. We get a chance. We're predictable of how we set up and set plays, attacking and defending. Gives them a chance. There's no variety in our play, and I think that gives teams encouragement before they even start.
Yeah, and we're still scoring goals. We were scoring goals, and then this run of forms came, and it's just the wheels have come off, and goals change games. I think that's the point Linda made. By the way, we've only got to half time, so we better rush through it before Terry's phone lines. So we've talked about the good half. Right, okay, so the second half started. Well, the floor's yours, Linda.
Aye, an absolute disaster. He said that when he got them in at half time, he warned them, because he said to them that they needed to be much better. And you just wonder if he should have made the changes at half time, but that's hindsight. But let's just concentrate, as you said, Ox, on the actual play. They ran through us. The first 5, after 5 minutes, we're 2-1 down. And again, it's unbelievable marking. It's just that, as I said, nobody picking up any runners. You've got Tav was posted missing on his right. I don't know, as I said, he was just poor. He was the only one, but I'm just talking about the 2 goals specifically.
Tav was atrocious. He's carried on for last week. He's been atrocious.
He was.
He was atrocious last week, and he's been I think he was maybe even worse yesterday. That's gone.
Yeah, and those 2 goals, the boy Murray he orchestrated those 2 goals. And when you look at their setup, I think they were 4-5-1. He was that one. He was their striker, although they did get up and support him. We know that they ran through us, but the boy Murray was their main striker, and it was a good shot he had. But then, he follows up his own shot. Nobody's marking him, Ox, and he just puts it into the bottom left-hand corner. And then you just think to yourself, let's regroup now. People need to stand up and be counted, get a bit of shape and a bit of belief. But unbelievably, though, they go back up the park and they get the second goal.
There was a lot of similarities, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Murray shoot.
Did it start for the start of the second half? I'm not blaming Borna, just Borna, but I mean, he puts out the park. And that was the sort of catalyst for the next couple of minutes, wasn't it?
It's back to your leadership group, isn't it? You've not been in the game last week when we got our equaliser back. There would have been 10, 15 minutes left in the game when we got the equaliser back. Any Sunday league team saying, right, keep it tight for a couple of minutes, ease our way in. All right, that ball goes out the pitch. But where's Tab and Golson and Lundstrom dropping back 5-10 yards? And this is embarrassing because it's against Ross County. But you've got to read when you're not in a game and it's not going well. And our leaders aren't, and we get vulnerable, and they're playing on us, and we're being outrun. Obviously, it's not a great way to start a half, but like you said, he was woeful. What about the one Tavernier kicked out to Suter, and Suter told him where to go, didn't he?
Huh?
He told what chance have you got when your leaders are doing that, and then it's easy blaming it, and we go back to Borna. Borna actually didn't make many mistakes. He didn't do anything wrong.
No, but he didn't show an appetite, did he?
No, he didn't show an appetite, but he wasn't. He didn't cost us. I know they all did collectively, but he didn't do anything wrong. We had players that done a lot wrong.
No, the 3, if you like, the 3 leadership, as we call them, they were poor. They were poor. Yeah. So you get 2-1 down, you're saying, okay, let's get a foothold in the match, and they just get worse, Linda, didn't it? And there was a similarities again.
Yeah. When we went 2-1 down, we had that was the chance then that fell to Dessers that Jai alluded to earlier on. The ball breaks to him in the box, and there's a play. This is the difference as well. They were throwing themselves in front of our shots. They were putting their bodies on the line. They would have done anything to prevent a goal yesterday, Ross County. This is the one that the guy's lying on the ground. He took a bit of a knock. The ball breaks to Dessers. Now he's on probably maybe the penalty spot, and he hits it right at the.
I think you've been kind saying it was a penalty spot.
Right, was it closer than that? Right,
I think so. From memory,
right, he was in the middle of the box anyway. Maybe he was closer. I don't know. I thought the boy was lying in the 6-yard box. But you're right. It doesn't matter. He actually hit the ball along the ground. Again, I go back to my point earlier. It's not a clean strike. It hits the player on the ground. Now, Jai would like to see it from behind the goal. It might have been gone wide. Jai might be right. But he needs to put height in that ball to make sure that goes over the player. It's a complete lack of awareness, and he's not a proper striker, because you don't need to look up and see. You should know where the goals are as a striker that cost all that money as well. That sums him up.
So after that, JM, they lost a third goal.
Yep, and it, just the same again, wasn't it? We just looked slow, pedestrian. For both goals, when you watch the tracking back, we're all over the place. John Lundstrom's doing a lot of pointing to everyone else to pick up a man, but
Tom Lawrence's effort.
Tom Lawrence's effort, considering he's just come on the pitch, and he looks like he's just played not 90 minutes, 180. How many minutes he looked? Another one that just looks like he can't run.
He's torn a caravan, isn't he?
Yeah, it's embarrassing, isn't it? We've been left with a squad that isn't quick.
He tore a caravan last week and he's still tore it now, isn't he?
Yeah. And by the way, the whole time, and again, different players for positions at different times, but it's quite obvious he can't play box to box, isn't it? Trying to find where he can play might be a different question, but it's quite obvious he's not a box to box midfielder. He's not got the legs.
I tell you, I know where he should play.
Oh. Go on.
Somewhere else.
Yeah. Possibly, Alan. Possibly.
Right, okay. So we concede a third goal. And the only slight bit of credit was we had Dame Captain and we had opportunities, and then we get the penalty. I never noticed it. I'll ask you truthfully, I never noticed it in real time. I didn't. The only one I seen the appeal for it was Kemar Ruth. I don't know if you noticed it in real time.
The way Ruth appealed, I went that's a penalty, because Ruth, I like to say, as we don't see him a lot, but Ruth is what I like to call sort of, I know he's a bit of with his injuries that, but a proper footballer and an adult. Other players would have pulled away, but that bloke was about to put a head on it, and the way he pulled away to me suggested we've got a serious claim here. I couldn't see it because of the angle, but the way Ruth reacted suggested to me it was going to be a penalty.
Linda, did you notice it in real time?
No, I didn't, Ox. I didn't. No.
Oh.
And the referee never near, and I thought the referee had actually not a bad match yesterday, if I'm being honest. I don't think he influenced any of the scoring or any of the results that they complained. You never seen that, can't see it. That's what VAR's there for. We gets the penalty. Cav scores it like he does majority of the time. So we've got 2 goals. There's still we added time, 15 minutes to go. Was that right? I remember right then, yeah.
Yeah, by the time of VAR, there was 10 minutes left, wasn't there? There was about 10 minutes left. Yeah.
You know, so we've had 2 bits of luck. We've had a VAR penalty kick, which was a penalty, there's no denying it. And then we had the own goal. We've no scored a goal for open play. So then we're saying, right, okay, the worst result now is a draw, and hopefully if we can get a goal quick, we can steal a winner. Well, we never looked like scoring, Linda, did we? Really?
No, we didn't. And I know we kind of started to camp ourselves into their half in the last kind of 20, 25 minutes. I mean, Clement said that, but why did it take all that? Why did they wait so long to do that sort of, get yourselves up the field, Ox, really camp them in, trying hard to get goals, and I know, it's just frustrating. Why did they not just play like that from the very beginning? The only other thing I would say to Ox was Cantwell was unlucky with that one off the bar, and that was before we got the penalty.
Aye, that was not bad effort. Aye, it was not bad effort. It dipped, and I think the goal left it, so he was unlucky. Obviously, with the one with Seema when he's put in with Zerum, again, we've nobody. When the header come back, I think it was goals and header the back. There's nobody aware to be there. Just put it this way, McCoy would have dived and hit it in with anything. He's hit his shoulder, but it ended up in the back of the net, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're looking for a striker to react. Obviously, I don't think he meant to punch it, did he? It was just too late to it, wasn't he? By the time going in, it was one of them, wasn't it? He even said, I think he went, I jumped and I missed it. I jumped and I missed it, and it hit his arm and went in, didn't it? I didn't notice it live, to be honest. It looked like I was jumping. I thought, if I put it in, we're back in it. But clear as day, a handball, wasn't it?
Yep. So there's been a lot of coincidences, a lot of post-mortems, but we better get these phone lines opened,
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, this could be interesting. Might not be. You never know. You never know. So you got your flak jacket on? Lovely John Bale, David. How we doing, David?
Evening, guys.
Evening, David.
I've honestly thought I'd calmed down a wee bit after that result, but it's getting, to be honest with you, the more I think about it, the worse it is. It's the 4-way-4, as I'm called. Arisic, Goldson, Tab and Lundstrom have flung away another league. Does this sound similar to you? This has happened time and time again with these guys. They just contrive to find a way to lose. I'm just beyond fed up with them now. They all need to go. Even Tav. I know he gets goals, but he lets in more goals than what he scores. We can't continue with these guys in the squad in the summer. A rebuild is badly needed, and these guys aren't in the future.
No, they're definitely not the future, David. And I think that potentially two of them are out of contract. Linda, I think two of them, Barisic and Lundstrom, are out of contract, yeah.
I'd agree, David. I think they've been at the club too long. I think when Golson was holding out for that contract just at the end, I think it was the 22 season, wasn't it, when we got to Seville, we thought he wasn't going to sign because he held out, and he held out with reportedly going to be our highest paid player, and he wanted the 4 years. We should never have agreed to that. We should, it was almost as if he held the club to ransom, and I hope I'm not being unkind to him saying that, but that's what it feels like. And I don't think we should have given him a 4-year contract. Tavernier has been a really good servant. He's got his numbers, etc. The way that he's got us out of jail and his goals that he scored, you can't argue with it. But he's also been very poor defensively at times. And somebody like John Lundstrom, it's probably time for him to go. And some of us have been a bit undecided on him, David. And I know Southside, he's one of the ones that's been quite firm about the fact that he shouldn't get the contract. And I think Lundstrom's shown in the last few weeks exactly why a lot of fans actually feel like that as well, David.
I
think we signing Golson after that, him running out the contract, was one of the worst decisions we've made in recent years. We've seen Ferrari and eyes that nobody else wanted him, and yet we gave him more money to come back. The guy's a clown. What does he bring to the team? Honestly, can any of you give me one positive he brings to the team? The only goals he scores is against his own team. I don't get what the manager sees in this guy. Leon Balogun must be having to go to the board and go, well, what's happening here?
Liam Balogun's going to be off this summer as well, mate. You've got to remember what age he is. And also, the defence to Liam, he's just come back for an injury as well. Jim?
I think the kindest thing to say to all three of them, and it's an obvious thing, all three of them have run out of legs, haven't they? Their legs are gone. They are looking old. They're looking tired, and they're not up to scratch anymore, are they? You can talk about the things they like. Tavernier always has defensive frailties. His attitude as a captain has been questioned many times. I've got to admit, I've been really on the fence at times. I've been emotional and agreed with it, but other times I think he's been carrying poor teams. Golson, you can't knock his professional attitude. He's never injured. Maybe he's carried stuff, and this is why now, but he's never been injured. He's played a lot of games for us. I agree it was a big mistake to give him 4 years, but at the time, what would it have cost to replace him as he was playing for us then? It would have cost a lot of money. So I can see I think that's the only reason it's 4 years, and Barisic is on his way out, isn't he? And his attitude's been questioned for a long time, and, he's got a lot of ability on the ball, but basically his bottle and his attitude again has been questioned, hasn't it?
I don't think Borner's influenced the game for a long time, Jim, if I'm being honest.
No, he had a good start to this season. His assistant, he was one of the better players at the start of the season.
Yeah.
I know we weren't playing well, but his stats. Ridvan was kind of questioning. There was a question at the start, and Borner kicked on a little bit, didn't he? When I say a little bit, I mean a little spell. But all in all, I agree. Is maybe for 2 years now, it's not been the Borner that we've been enjoying before that.
They're all similar ages, David. There's maybe a learning curve in there. Eh?
I know, but I think it's more like, for me, like, you look to your leaders, your Taz, your Goldsons, right? But they're no giving you the right leadership in my eyes, right? They've been the captain and a vice captain under a litany of failures. So are they getting in the heads of these other players, saying, "Oh, you need to watch it for this team, that team, or we'll find it hard to beat them"? Because they're used to defeat now. Defeat is an acceptable thing to them. That's what was shown yesterday. We should have been thinking, right, Ross County, they've they're in danger of getting relegated. So that's going to affect their wages. That's going to affect their livelihood. That's going to affect the food that they can put on the table for their families. But we strolled out in that park like we didn't have to try. It was criminal, absolutely criminal, for the same 4 people that are there year after year after year, and they keep making the same mistake by relying on them. And I love Tavernier, but we've become too reliant on his goals. That's the fact. We'll keep on thinking, the rest of the team keeps on thinking, Tab will get a goal, he'll dig us out a hole. That's the problem. That's the big, big problem. If you're relying on one guy that's been there and won what 3
He scored some good goals this season, but yeah, I think a vast majority of his goals have been penalty kicks this season.
It's no goals for me. He's 30. He's getting towards the end of his career. Let's be honest, right? If that Saudi Arabia money comes in, if it's in there, £3 to £5 million, I'd snap the hand off him. I really would, because he's done for me. He's done. I've loved Tab a long time, and I've supported him through thick and thin. But that game just a few days ago broke me with him. I'm done with Tab now.
Listen, I'll be really honest with you. I think the last 2 games he's been atrocious. You know, his form's dipped at around time, Linda.
Yeah, it's the same for a few of them, unfortunately. And when you get to this business end of the season, as we like to talk about it, we just wanted them. For me, I just wanted Tav to defend, be a defender. And somebody else take up the mantle of getting us the goals. But unfortunately, we've not got a centre forward that can do that. And we've said it. I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but I don't think it was you needed to be the brain of Britain to work that out. That we were always going to be struggling because we couldn't afford to go out and get a striker in January. But I know everybody still talks about Lawrence Shankland, but the hard truth is, Ox, is that we didn't have any money to spend in the window there in January, like a lot of clubs. So we had
the mistake was made in the summer. It wasn't signing. I'm not signing Lawrence in January.
No.
It was the fact that we signed Dessers in the summer.
Agreed.
And Lammers.
Well, if you look at it, I think Lammers has scored 7 goals in 6 games for Utrecht. We never played him.
We've signed players on stats and that before. Another fact is he's another player that can't run, has got no heart, hasn't he?
Yeah, but we never played him as centre forward, did we?
No.
No. But listen, I've not watched him playing for Utrecht, so I don't want to judge, but I'm only telling you what he's done. But what I'm saying is we spent money on them, and that left us that we couldn't spend money in January.
Yeah.
And if Hearts on the willing to sell, they're wanting for millions and millions of pounds that we can't produce because we've spent more time in January because of the rules. We've not let it go, JM.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Clement was quite clear in that they had to get creative, and hence the 2 loan signers we brought in, and we haven't had much luck with them with injury and the injuries of other players. We've not been able to use them. It is, isn't it? It's just it's the scoring goals and the recruitment at the start of the season has left us short, and the players that we've arguably shifted out the wrong players as well. We had players that produced numbers consistently in the league, and we just decided a certain person thought they were okay just to let go, didn't he?
Aye, are you talking about, say, Fashion Sakala, for instance?
Fashion Sakala, Antonio Kolak, who seemed to get dropped after one bad first half against Motherwell for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't really seen again after that, was he?
No, really, no. We never really seen.
A strange situation, whatever arose, but
And you come,
both
David.
could score goals.
Yeah, and you come, David.
I think it's honestly, I just, if these guys are still here in the summer, I don't know where we're going as a team. We can't keep doing
the chances of getting rid of Golston and Tarver. You've got to. They'll still be involved. Unfortunately, whatever way you look at it, they've still got 2 years of big contracts left, mate.
I know, but it's just I feel like I'm stuck in a time loop with these guys. I really am. It's time and time again they let us down, and you keep playing them, and nothing changes. So like, I don't get where we're going. Do you know what I mean?
The problem with them is they're on that downward spiral, mate, yeah? And they ain't going to get quicker. Now, Tav runs all day, even yesterday. As bad as he was still running. But when you say you've lost half a yard, David, your stats might be all right, but there's something in you, your legs go as you get older. Tav's, 31, 32 now? And you just lose. That's the saying, you've lost half a yard. It's not quite like that, but it's just all the games he's played, and it's maybe just caught up with the guy. And I don't know, in 6 months' time, he's not going to get any quicker, mate.
That's why I was saying, if that Saudi Arabia money comes in, I'd take it. I really would. I would have loved the guy to retire at Rangers, but he's become detrimental to the team now. We can't keep going forward with the same and expecting something different to happen. We need a complete change, especially at the back. The back's needed sorted out for a long, long time. If you think about the amount of centre-backs we've went through the last 4 or 5 years, it's criminal that we've not managed to find somebody better than Goldson.
Linda?
Yeah, you're right, David. And, you know, we brought in Ben Davies and he's so far out the picture, we've kind of forgotten about him. We brought in Balogun and I can see why we actually did that. You know, it was for a year and it was for cover. It probably was just to, as I say, act as cover. But Connor Goldson sometimes goes through phases where he has a few bad games, and I'm not saying that he then goes on to be outstanding, but sometimes he picks himself up and you see him putting in a couple of good performances, but he's not done that. He's been pretty woeful. I don't know when are we talking about. Are we talking about in the last maybe 10, 11 games even Connor was losing goals? When you think about the goals that Aberdeen scored against us, when you think about the big guy from Motherwell that ragdolled him as well, he's not recovered from a few of the goals that he solely was responsible for since the winter break. And I don't know if it's going to be really difficult for Connor to pick his form up. But the other thing is that is the manager going to actually have, it's a big decision, and is he going to actually drop him, Ox?
I think it's mad as it seems. I think the 3 players we've talked about, but if you like the leadership, will start Wednesday night.
Agreed.
Yeah, as mad as it seems, you know. But David, I feel your frustrations. I think I'll be kind. I hope the club have learned with the John Lundstrom one, because the sands of time wait for no man. I mean, young guys like myself and yourself, we maybe not hit it yet, but the other two they call maybe past their sell-by date, you know.
It's just, it's frustrating because you'd think the players would be going, right, we're in a title fight here. This is a chance to finally put right what we've put wrong for so long, and they flung it away again. The throwaway 4 are at it again, and it's more Tavernier's interviews. Like, I could tell you what he was going to say before he even spoke a single word. The guy's frustrating, and ever since they did that interview in that magazine a couple of years ago, I've not been able to look at his interviews the same. It's just, it lacks a mentality and fight. That's what that team's missing. There's not a real leader in the team. Nowhere in the team.
Maybe there's something else. Maybe there's something else missing, David. Have you thought about this? I don't know if there was a Rangers supporter on that park yesterday.
I think Suitors are Rangers.
Big John. I don't. Yeah, he likes the Rangers. Anyway, we'll come right back to you, David. We'll be joined by Stuart. Evening, Stuart.
I'm just going to go.
Guys and gals, how you doing? All right?
All right, I'll come right back to you, Stuart. See you later, David. Great call, mate.
Thank you, mate.
No bother, mate. Catch you soon. On you go, Stuart. The floor's yours.
Hold on. Sorry about that. I'll just get my phone out there. God, where do you start? I've got to start with Big Phil. I get the feeling he kind of, all right, we didn't know the injury situations and who's fit and who's not. I get a feeling he goes too deep into it. to look back at the Celtic game, he takes Goldson off with about 2 minutes to go or something. I mean, what was that all about? He puts Balogun on. It looked like he didn't trust him.
Goldson signalled to the bench he wanted to come off, mate.
Did he? Aye. I just feel that.
They're not, yeah.
I never noticed that. I just feel that he's to drop big players like the Goldson, Tav. I think because he's brought Silva in, I think he feels the need to play him. But he's not a left winger. I mean,
no chance.
I know. One of the guys says, one of them says there that we've become too predictable. Aye, there is that element in it. We seem to set up the same way. There's Dowell playing where he was. Just wasn't going to work for me. Sterling been in there. The park's a bit bubbly. It's a bit tight. Need to win the battle. And we never won. We never even got gone. I mean, how they couldn't see that? I mean, he took Cantwell off one time. I think it was against the Cypriot team for about 25 minutes or something. He should have been sort of sending out a message to folks saying, look, Dale, you're coming off, Sterling. Change it about a bit. What Sterling got today? He got a game. He'd be my first name on the sheet, to be honest with you. 100%.
I agree. I don't know what he's not. He's had a couple of knocks and that, but unless it's sports scientists, I don't understand what he's got today. When they had the good run of form, he was playing.
Aye, I know. I mean, it's the build up. You've got this build up sort of thing happening. It's all going the wrong way. It's just can't get my head around it. Suter, I didn't really rate him. He can't seem to jump. If you noticed that in the first half, a corner, he went to take it and he stopped and he's waving somebody back and it was all kind of Laurel and Hardy stuff. The boy was pointing at his chest. I think it was Suter saying, me, like, and he was waving them. I'm thinking, they've not got a clue at corners. They just seem to be all over the shop. Chat me in. If you mind Benfica, Di Maria, I was terrified of the corners. They were coming in like cannonballs, you know what I mean? I know it's a different type of player, but we just seem to float them in and it's just never working. All in, I just feel that we're losing it. We're just really lost it over the last 2 or 3 games. Since the Motherwell game, to be honest with you, Goldson got bullied. It's pretty dire, to be honest with you. And he's not got a lot of options, let's be fair. Not got a lot of options. So just take a buckle down. And you're right, I think on Wednesday, I think it will go same kind of team. And Sterling, the only big change that will be, Sterling will be in that middle. He's got to be. If he doesn't do that, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I never thought we'd have thought of this at the start of the season, Jim. We've missed the young Ridvan,
Yeah, we've missed it. We've missed his attacking threat. I don't know, his passing of the ball, some nice passes, injects a bit of pace into a team that's got no pace. We 100% have missed him. He was coming into a good bit of form, wasn't he? But again, I'm looking at the management. I know we can't stop him. We're not going to be a team that stops players going to international games and different things. But that's another one who's had his injuries, and we send him a go away to play extra games for 2 weeks. The other team doesn't do that. They pull them away every chance they can get. We send the Sendars away to go and get injured.
Yeah, you get called up late and get put into the squad and get injured. Into the team wonder, Seema wasn't even playing, get injured.
Yeah. And ironically, when the whole time that Big Seema was out there, we managed to get through the games, didn't we? When we came back after that break and we were getting through the games and we were just thinking that if we get him back, it'll make us stronger. As you said earlier, Ox, he had a few more options, the manager. But it's quite incredible that they've all, quite a lot of them, or if not all of them, they've been all off the ball at the one time. It's quite frightening. But Wednesday's game is probably going to be similar as well. I know Dundee are they're in the top 6 now and they're not fighting relegation, obviously, the way Ross County were. But on paper, Dundee are a better team than Ross County. So we're going to have to buck our ideas up, or there's another big, result against us pending, and that'll really just take us out of it altogether.
Yeah, because let's be honest, if we win all our games, we'll still win the league. I mean, I know we're feeling really down, that's fact. Is it going to happen? Well, that's up for debate, Stuart, but you need to go on Wednesday with the right attitude, mate.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I watched the Ross County game, and I just had a bad feeling about why. As soon as it kicked off, I thought, Christ, I mean, the guy, I mean, if it wasn't for Seema, boy would have just kind of ushered it into the far corner. So that was the kind of start to it. The biggest disappointment for me was the management was a big Phil. I felt I wanted to see a more animated and positive folk and kind of bump my fist, sort of like a Walter Smith sort of thing. He's got that look, he's got the stature. He doesn't seem to use it. He's maybe used it, we didn't see it, but I want to see more on the touchline. It is a bit animated, but what he said in the dressing room, what was it he said? Again, it was quite sort of low-key type of thing. He maybe said it in a bit more forceful manner. But there didn't seem to be that kind of grit that you needed to win that game. To say, look, the Raiders are playing at half-time. You're lucky to be going in. You should be going in 2-1 down or something like that, or 3-2 down, or at least 3-3 draw or something like that with the chances that was going on. And I expect them to come out and say, right, let's batter into these. It just didn't happen. So you've got to question, is he playing for the manager now? Is that the thing? Is he kind of lost a couple of players? Has he kind of had words with them? You just don't know. And there are no options to put in. Let's be honest about it. You look at the bench, they're looking great in certain positions. That's why I thought he needed to change the format a wee bit. And just to sort of change it up a bit. It just stuck with the same thing. Lundstrom and Dowell, they were too narrow. And as soon as the ball broke, they just didn't have the legs to get back. So you've got horses for courses, the conditions, bubbly part, tight part. Right, let's tighten it up in the middle here, win the battle, and then get the balls up to like Silva. Silva playing there in the middle for me, with Barisic coming up a bit, maybe a 3-5-2 or something like that. Keep them more occupied. There was a lot he could have done, but it didn't happen. Why it didn't happen? We'll never know. But as Linda says, we've got a chance on Wednesday to at least get it back. Is it 1 point or something like that? Well, it's not lost, let's be honest.
No, you're right. The arithmetic tells you that, but Linda, the last 2 games we've lost 6 goals. We've scored 5 goals and we've took 1 point.
Yeah, it's quite incredible. You know, the three against Celtic last week, when you think about that first half performance that they put in, I know the conditions were poor, etc., but it was the same for both teams. But rightly, as we've said before, Ox, both of the teams actually played better when they were shooting down the Copland, but still the goals that we gave away were just so criminal. And then this week you think, right, you know, you go out, you get your sleeves rolled up and you just get the victory. It was all about getting the 3 points yesterday, and we just didn't apply ourselves at all. I think Stuart's got a point about the manager. I think what he said at half time is that he said in his presser that he warned them that the way that they were playing in the first half wasn't good enough and they really needed to up their game. And you can see why he's maybe sent them out, Ox, and thought, right, you know, I'm not making the changes just now. But the only thing that concerns me with that, Ox, was that we were being totally overrun in the midfield, even in the first half. Why didn't we change our shape to combat that? Because they definitely think they played 5 across the middle with the 1 forward. So we were going to be overrun. So that's the only thing as well. What's one of the things that concerns me with Clement yesterday, that he didn't do anything to change that. But if he did and the players didn't take his instructions on board, that's another matter. That's even more worrying.
Yeah, that's up for debate. Right, listen, we've reached that time of the evening. Time to draw a breath. We're going to have a tune, so get yourself a mute and let's have a tune.
I sailed the wild Atlantic, across the broad Pacific shore. I sailed around the starry capes and I've heard the 40s roar. I've climbed the Indian Ocean, I've sailed the China Sea. But there's a sea back home in Scotland, more than all the rest to me. It's the blue, blue, blue sea of my rocks. It's the greenest sight that I have ever seen. It's the blue, blue, blue sea of my rocks. And this part of the really just clear free. No more I'll sail the seven seas, no more I'll ever roam. No more I'll feel the urge again, I'm back where I belong. At 3 o'clock each Saturday, I'll join the mighty throng. With flags and banners all around, I'll proudly sing this song. It's the blue, blue, blue sea of my rocks. It's the greatest sight that I have ever seen. It's the blue, blue, blue sea of my rocks. And it's part of the really just clear free. It's the blue, blue, blue sea of my rocks. It's the greatest sight that I have ever seen. It's the blue, blue, blue sea of my rocks. And it's part of the really just clear free. And it's part of the really just clear free.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Right, the problem is we're going round in circles here. We're all frustrated. We're all saying very similar things, you know, and we can't do anything to rectify it. The manager could drop 5, 6, 7 players on form the last 2 games, if you're honest. You know, obviously there was spells in the second half last week, but collectively, 3 out the 4 halves in the last 2 games have been nowhere near good enough.
Yeah, there's 2 different things, aren't there? The players aren't performing anywhere near to their standard, and you can argue even when they do, they're maybe not quite at the standard. There's individuals that have shown they could be, but they're not. But then you've also got to look at the managers, the teams he's picking, and also the in-play management and how he's saying, you know, Linda's mentioned it was quite clear we're being overran in the midfield. He made it clear quite early on in his tenure that he's not scared to make a change, but then that seemed to be only for Todd Cantwell, because I've watched 2 games in a row now where players could have been hooked after 20 minutes and been changed. And then also managing players as well. We got applauded for how he was managing players. And, you know, what does somebody like, you know, you can maybe argue about the fitness, but what does somebody like Rabbi Matonda have to do to get a start? When you're coming on and scoring goals and affecting games all the time, you can be the best player in the world. You're not going to keep doing that. You know, you're going to come on and then players start to get the hump as well, don't they? So there's a lot of different aspects that, you know, nothing's clicking at the moment. You'd argue he's maybe not picking quite the right team. They're not doing it. And then also maybe how he's managing it once the game starts.
No, unless he's injured. Scott Wright had appeared in that big game last week, and then he's out the picture completely this week. Now, I've got my views on that, Linda, and I think you know them, but it doesn't add up, does it?
No, I did wonder actually when I was looking back at the squad for the game. I was thinking to myself, where was Scott Wright? Quite strange. If he isn't injured, why he's not made the bench? I don't know, Ox. It's
I wouldn't have played him last week.
No,
but that's just me.
What about Ross McCausland as well, Ox? Because, you know, wee Ross got that bad injury, but I'm assuming that he's over that now. And then you're thinking to yourself, right, we've played Seema on the right again, and we know that's not really his preferred position. He's better coming off the left. So, I don't know, like, it just seems to be sometimes that for whatever reason, certain players just aren't getting played. I don't know, but I know young Ross has played a lot of football in his kind of first senior year, Ox, but I just wondered, why did we not even bring him on, you know?
Remember, Ross McCausland, not far away, but the same age as the boy Palmer at Chelsea. That's all I'm saying. Anybody wants to check that out, Giant?
I know which one I wish we had.
You know, so, you know, you've got to move on at some time. I think Ross was unlucky. I mean, that was an assault, memorable game, Stuart, wasn't it? That tackle.
That was, I mean, every game's got to say an irony. I mean, the guy that did it went and scored the winner, I think, if memory serves me right. They should have been off the park. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, I saw the wee things, niggly things, you've got to pick them out the back of your head. It's out the back of my head now. It annoyed me at the time. But, I mean, if somebody had said to you way back, whenever Beale left, was it October or something like that, like, you're going to be going into the last 5-6 games, point behind Celtic, win all your games, and you've won it, and you've won a cup, what would you have done? You would have took that all day long, eh? Let's be honest. Took that on a semi-final of the Scottish Cup. So, I'm looking at the positives now. I'm kind of saying, right, if we could get through the Dundee game, regroup a bit, and if we get Sterling in midfield and we get Ridvan back, I'll feel a lot more confident. And the big problem I think we've had is we've always thought, right, we're 2 points clear. We've put all the other games aside, right, we're winning 8 games. We've just got to go to Parkhead and draw or win. We've cracked it. And that's maybe the attitude that's creeped in there, I get the feeling. And
do you want my theory, mate?
Aye.
For yesterday, yeah? My theory was yesterday that we were that far ahead of Ross County in the game at Ibrox. It could have been, let's be honest, if it would have been 12 that night, you know, I know they scored the goal, but if we'd have scored 12 goals with the shots and where we were and the way we peppered the goal. So we went on there thinking we just had to turn up. And if you didn't do that in professional football in the same league, you can pay a heavy price. Look at all the results yesterday in the games, not just our game, the other top flight, south, down south. Now, I'm not saying they teams went on with the right attitude, but results do happen. You don't go in the right attitude, Linda, you can pay a heavy, heavy price.
Yeah, I wonder if that's maybe got some truth in it, Ox, what you've said there, because of the last game against Ross County. But if you look at all the games when you play away from home, you know, there's hardly any teams, you know, even when you look at the old firm, when they play away from home, I know we beat Dundee 5-0, but if you look at some of the other games, they're tight. You know, they're cagey, and, you know, our rivals, you know, haven't gone away from home and absolutely thrashed, you know, clubs off the park, Ox. So if they went in like that, as we said earlier, then we were always going to be it's going to, you know, it would be our downfall. So Wednesday, it's, you know, it's obviously you'll start to build up to that game later on in the week, you know, tomorrow night and stuff like that, Ox. But it's, as I said earlier, that's going to be a game for we're getting your, you know, the sleeves rolled up, but we've just got to play better. It's, you know, it's fairly obvious.
Just go to win, Giant. Just go to win.
100% just got to win and, you know, get out of it. At the end of the day, we're in a rut at the moment. You need to get out of it, and it doesn't matter. You need to get a win and try and pick up a bit of form. Just wanted to pick up something that Linda mentioned about Ross McCausland. Obviously, we were struggling in midfield, and there's another guy on the bench that seems to have just been forgotten about as well, and that's obviously Raskin. But he's not seeming to get, you know, he's on the bench. He's on the bench plenty of times, but another one a bit like McCausland recently doesn't seem to be considered. Just being told to go and sit there, really.
What has Dowell done to go by Raskin, unless there's sports science, stroke fitness, Giant, and then Stuart?
Yeah, no, 100% nothing but sports science. I mean, you're talking this Raskin's not getting 10 minutes on the pitch. All these guys have came back from in. I know he did get one at home. Home to Hearts. He came on, had a spell. He didn't have a good few minutes, to be honest. But he hasn't. The other players are being rushed back and getting minutes. Raskin isn't getting the opportunity to even get these minutes, which I find strange. So to answer your question, Dow hasn't done anything more than Raskin, but he's getting the opportunities. And it begs the question why.
Yes. Stuart?
Hi, I mean, I agree, but I mean, to put Dell in there, and you look at what's happened to him over the last, let's go back to the last couple of months, if you like. He's not had a lot of time. Raskin, in fact, Dell's hardly had any time, to be honest with you. Celtic and stuff like that. But Raskin, that game was made more for Raskin than what there was for Dell in that position. Dell's more up front. He's not a boy that'll track back. You look at him against the Celtic game, sauntering back, kind of third goal, I think it was. So for me, Raskin's got a lot to prove. He's come in, he was a bit kind of Billy Big Time, I thought, when he come in. And he's been doing a wee bit of a peg, and he said, try to fight back. Now, I just felt that I would have had Raskin in instead of Dell, just to give that. I'd rather had Sterling in there, to be honest with you. But Sterling would have been at left back. That's another matter. But I just feel that, I mean, it's come to the time. It's crunch time. Phil's got to show his managerial skills now, again, and sort of get them all back up to a level. He's done it before. He come in, they were all doing it, brought them up before. It's a bit up and down, bumps in the road and all that. He said all that. So I just get the feeling that, will it be a blessing in disguise? It doesn't feel like it, I knew, that's for sure. And you didn't want to preempt certain things. But you know what's got to give them a boost? I think they'll beat Dundee the morning, absolutely. And I think once the split's sort of defined and decided, everybody will get a wee boost and think, right, this is what we've got today.
Well, the teams in the split are defined.
Aye.
It's only because goal difference, if you had a fluke result, well, they'd be a massive fluke that Dundee could end up 5th above St Mirren. Yeah, That's the only reason how you don't know the fixtures yet.
I know.
They've watched us defend the last 2 weeks.
You might be right there, Jay. You might be right there. But the teams are defined. We know the teams. We know who will be playing.
I know. I'm just saying that. I mean, I'm not sure what the home and away sort of side bits are. I've never really looked into it that much, or how it's. I mean, like, so we've played Kilmarnock away twice, so I take it we'll play them at home. I don't know. I can't mind what the story.
No, don't be surprised if we have to go there again.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. It's not as clear cut as that, is it? So that's going to be a bit of a deciding factor as well.
That's a mental scenario. But anyway, Linda, how did we go? Somebody mentioned rut. Obviously, you want to win the game on Wednesday, but would that get us out this rut?
I think it would obviously just steady the ship a wee bit, Ox, because I don't, you don't like to throw the towel in at all, and anything can happen. But if we don't pick up 3 points on Wednesday, it might be just, it's a tall order to go and win 6 games anyway, including Wednesdays. But if you don't pick up maximum points on Wednesday, I just think everybody will think that there's no chance now, if people don't already think that. You've got to go, and we have to play better. I mean, that's fairly obvious. And as you said, we must just get the 3 points. And if that's by a dodgy penalty, 1-0 or a 2-1. But see, the thing is, Ox, we need to stop conceding these types of goals. We need to just maybe the manager underestimated Ross County as well because of how dominant we were in the game at home. I don't think you'll see the same midfield. Maybe I'm going to be wrong, but certainly, as I said earlier, Dundee are maybe even a better team.
If you see Kieran Dow, and I know he wasn't any worse than John Lundstrom or anybody else, Giant, but if you see Kieran Dow back in there again, we've got problems, haven't we?
Yeah, 100%, because we've not learned, and we've maybe got a coaching team that's being stubborn because they're trying to find a way to play. Obviously, especially away doesn't work. I know at home it's worked with two sort of, the two sitters, and maybe Lawrence has been deeper and that's worked, but they're different games away from home. I mean, are we clinging to one half-decent performance away at Motherwell? And I think he can just go in there and do it. He's not done it consistently. I know he got some bad injuries, but for me, if Big Sterling's not in the middle of that pitch on Wednesday night, we've got problems.
Me and Southside see it completely different. He thinks he's a right back. I think Sterling's a midfield player. I think we've stumbled on something where he can be a big asset. Just the way I see it, Stuart. Then Linda.
I mean, ever since I sort of seen him, he's sort of athletic, he's strong. And when he loses the ball, gets it back. You know what I mean? He doesn't stop, he keeps going, he gets it back. He's good touch, good speed. He's all you want in a midfielder. Now I'm looking at him, he's worth a lot of money, that guy. If you look at all the team in general, apart from Butland, he's probably the biggest sort of cost you would get for a guy like that. I mean, Redban up there as well. He's got to play. For me, if Clement doesn't do that, I'll not be able to work him out, to be honest with you. He's got to play him in the midfield. It'll maybe help Lundstrom a wee bit as well. I think Lundstrom's confidence is a wee bit gone. He didn't know what to do with it. He's sort of stuck in the middle a wee bit. He's building up a relationship with the Diamondi, what you call him. And he's not there, and he's saying, Ken, it was just all can he do in the middle. They were getting opened up all the time as soon as the ball broke. They were just clueless. But it's a big test for Phil, and I think that if he gets that attitude right again, galvanise him again, regroup and galvanise, we'll beat Dundee, and then we'll just kind of regroup again. Again, you've got the semi-final. I'm actually glad the semi-final's coming along. And then if we get Redvan back with Sterling in the middle, I'll feel a bit happier with that. I really will.
Onda?
Yeah, I would agree, Ox. I think he's looks as if he's more suited to midfield. To be fair to Big Sterling, we've not really seen a lot of him. We've not seen any of him at right back. Maybe one cameo role. So I don't know, and I don't really know how he played before that in that position. But I think midfield has been where he seems to have impressed the most. He's got a good engine. He'll get up and down the park, and we need to keep it. We need to be a lot tighter in there than we were obviously yesterday. So, do you see a place for? I know Diamandi had the operation at his thumb, but say he was able to play on Wednesday night. Is there an option for him to play Diamandi and Sterling and take Lundstrom out the team?
For me, aye. But it depends where you want Sterling to play. If you want him to be making a 3 in defence, or you want to play in midfield where you get close to the play, because the problem with John is, he's that deep, he's no influence in midfield, does he?
No, he's dropping in between the two centre halves, and he's trying to pass it to where he should be, and he's not figured that out yet. He's taking the ball and wanting to pass it 10 yards to where he should be standing to pick the ball out. It's a bit embarrassing, really. And one thing I'd say on Linda's, I get the thinking, and I'd love to get Lundstrom out of the team, but I also think maybe Diamandi has been playing one too far back, and we're not solving an issue. We've got an issue in the fact that we're maybe carrying an out of form Lundstrom, and we've been putting someone else next to him. And I think Diamandi also, before a bad thumb, was dropping a little bit and looking maybe a little bit that he needed to play one up. So I'm not sure if them playing somebody as Sterling inexperienced in that role, and then Diamandi's the answer either. But it also can't be any worse to what we've been watching.
No. It's just that Sterling's pace and the way he gets about the park. You know, nobody else like that. Stuart, people would say back in the day, you need a ball winner in your team. And your ball
definitely. I mean, I don't think he'll change it about too much. I get the feeling Silva will start. I just get that feeling that it's not a good position for him. He's not adapted well to it. He's got to have to do something with that. I don't know what the park's going to be, Dundee, or where it goes to Perth or something. Got to be a decision more. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that.
I'll cut across you, Stuart. We've enjoyed the Big Al. Evening, Big Man. Good morning to you.
Aye, good morning, good evening. Can you hear me okay, yeah?
Aye, mate.
Aye.
Carry on.
I think a wee bit of the rot set in after the Motherwell game. To then, I think it's went downhill slightly. The manager, I think, is a bit stubborn as well. We've all been saying we need to change things. You know, people are calling for Barisic never to be in the team. Obviously, the young Turkish boy, he got an injury, so it was needs must in regards to Barisic and the left back problem, right back problem. Tavernier, if he's not scoring any penalties throughout the season, I mean, you can't really rely on him as his defensive. he's not defensive. Connor Goldson, son's got to him. He's spooked, isn't he? He's been spooked somewhere along the line. So, I mean, the manager's hands are tied, certainly. I think he put Dowell in thinking Dowell was maybe going to do a wee bit of what he done in the Celtic game, driving forward with the ball. But you also got to look at Dowell as well. He played that crazy ball from the left back to the right back on right across the box in the Celtic game. So he's maybe prone to having a wee mind fart. Up front, Dessers he's getting goals. If you look at his stats and all that, or you say, oh, he's a good striker, but he seems to miss glaring obvious chances. So I think the manager's made a bed for himself in regards to, we've been screaming out for some changes, but who do you play as a centre? Who do you play as that other centre half? Balogun, he's been out injured as well, hasn't he? So who do we play? I mean, we're stuck to shake it up a bit in the middle of the park as well. Lundstrom, I mean, if we had other midfielders that were playing better, I mean, you wouldn't be having Lundstrom in there, would you? Maybe he's maybe in the same boat as Barisic. No contract's going to be put on the table, so why bother? You know what I mean? Kind of things like that. That's what I'm looking at. But the manager, if he turns this around, I think he go down as an absolute legend. But it's a big ask. It's not gone, but that was a very bad defeat the other night. Very, very bad. It was a sore one, like it really was. And then look, I will say, look, Ross County played well, but we were dire. So all congratulations to Ross County, by the way. I'm not coming across as sour grapes. So good on them, like, you know what I mean? That's what happens.
They worked their socks off and gave their manager.
Correct. Maybe that's what our teams need to do. But I do think even if the players that I've mentioned are working their socks off, it's still not good enough. If that makes sense. Still not good enough.
But some of them are not giving a shift, and they're not good. The both combinations are, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Can I ask you a question? You're a professional man.
Hiya, Linda. How about you? Sorry.
Oh, here we go.
How are you?
Here we go.
No.
Was three.
No, sorry.
Oh, Davey's away on holiday. I was filling his shoes.
Is he?
Aye.
He's away on a busman's holiday, the old gent. He's away at the Maltesers factory. Aye, go ahead up.
Aye, listen, you're professional, dealt with people moving jobs regularly in your industry, yeah?
Oh, aye.
When people know they're moving, psychologically.
It's done. Buzz burst.
Aye.
What you've got to say to them is, there you go, pay you out to the end of your ringer, because very rarely will you get somebody they can have all the integrity in the world, but they'll take an extra half hour for their break, or they'll finish early. They've never been to a dentist appointment in 10 years. All of a sudden, they're getting root canal treatment every second day. You lose interest, don't you? So, that's what it is. We've made that bed. We need to lie in it. The manager has to manage it. But I think, like we're saying, there's a few good ideas in that. Why put the big boy Sterling in the middle of the park along with Dimondi? Right? Just do that. See the big boy, the big English boy centre half.
Ben Davis,
aye. Can we not do what they're doing? Pardon me. Play the four centre backs at the back.
He's disappeared completely, mate. We've not even seen him in a squad.
Can you not be playing left back? Oh, you play with the four centre halves. Is that not the new thing in football? Ben Davis, Suter, Goldson, and Balogun. You know what I mean? Get Goldson a bit of confidence. A couple of other players running about him, and then
I wouldn't want him as a relay quartet.
I know what you're saying, but if they're just there as the iron curtain, so to speak, and then you let the other players. And another player, I think, that needs to. Somebody said the other night there, I think they thought he played well, but I'm not too sure. Is Cantwell?
We talked about this yesterday, or
yesterday and the Celtic game. I know. He just the ball bounces up and down, run about him. He kind of flicks up in the air and different things like that. Just where's the shots? Where's the shots, big man? Where's the goals? I'm looking for more for him, especially now that we're under the pump. He's meant to be one of our big players. I think we deserve a bit more off him. You know what I mean?
the only thing I will say compared to a lot of them yesterday, he tried to influence the game.
Yeah. Oh no. I'm just asking for a wee bit more. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't deny that.
I know it's difficult to pass to somebody if they're not in front of you or they're not there to take the pass. But where's this player that can influence a game himself? You know what I mean? That can grab the game by the scruff of the neck and bang in 2 goals. You know what I mean? We don't have him to lie. He's as close as we've got. We could be doing with a few other players. You know what I mean?
Aye, before here's one for you, JM. I want you come in, JM. Here's one for you.
I'm gonna go, boys. All right, but I'll keep listening, ladies and gentlemen. But
here's
thanks for taking the call.
Are you coming home this year, Biggie?
No, I don't know. I'm on a mission right now. I've got I might have a new job.
You better be trying your best.
I need to go and try my best. I've got the suit hanging up in the back of the motor there.
All right.
I'm sure I'll get it. It's a formality.
Good luck.
Right. Okay. Right. Now take care of yourselves. Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Keep it going for the Rangers. Bye, Linda. Bye. Take care.
You too. Bye.
I was going to say he's your only fan, Linda, but that doesn't make sense anymore, does it? You've got 2, you've got Davey as well, and that's 2 more than I've got. JM, here's one for you. Yesterday's front three for Rangers, was that one least expenses ever frontline on paper?
Could be. He's obviously, if you're talking about value, quite got to be in it, because one player would nearly beat it, wouldn't it? One player would nearly beat the addition, because obviously there's been Flo before, what was the record, but did any in that era get signed for much more money to make it close? Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to think. Obviously, what was Flo? 12 million. Silver's more than double that valuation. And then Dessa's, what was Dessa's? Was Dessa's 6 or something ridiculous?
I think we paid about 4.5 for him, mate.
4.5. And, whatever Seema is considering, I don't know what contract it is, but he'll be north of 5, probably around 10 to 15, won't he? Valuation, depending on being a Premier League player and stuff. So
it's mental, isn't it? It's mental.
Yeah. It just shows you it means absolutely nothing, and the money's gone everywhere, doesn't it? Because it just shows you it means absolutely.
It's mental one, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know, like Silva. I didn't really know an awful lot about him when he came in. I know, obviously, they paid 35 million for him. He lost his way a wee bit. I think he went out on loan last year, and I think he did quite well, Ox. But I just thought because of the price tag, and I thought we were going to get somebody who was, whatever position we played him in the forward line, that he would maybe take that area with the scruff of the neck if we needed a goal. I thought he's got 4 goals. I just thought he would be more influential as well, Ox. I just think there's big spells in the game where he's not in it, and he's another one that he's not influencing play either, Ox. But does anybody know what his best position is? There's chat about him, maybe he's better as a number 10 and we're playing him out wide, but I don't know, Ox. I expected a lot more from Silva.
He's no set the head on fire. He showed glimpses, we'll say that. He's got ability. What I would say, if a young boy came out of a B team had put their level of runs together that Fabio's put together, I think he'd be back in the B team, and I think I've been first, Stuart.
I've tried to work out his best position. It's kind of the, in brackets, false number 9 type of position. Running off people like a Kyogo type of guy, cutting in to the back sort of thing. No a big guy, but could get into decent positions. I think he finds himself in decent positions, but I don't know. There just seems to be is it a lack of support or whatever. There's a few of them like that. Maybe just not quite sort of gel out of position, things like that. And that's been sort of cobbled together for the last 6 months. You've got to admire Phil for that. He's managed to put it all together. It feels to bits about the new, but I think if we could galvanise him a bit and try and maybe say, right, bring Silva in a wee bit to maybe get him to support the striker a bit more, rather than be stuck out in the wing. Because when he gets that, it's not really effective. He's not getting him behind. That's his game. Doing a wee 1-2, spinning him behind. He's quite quicker, about 3 or 4 yards to get in, to get that bit of space. But he's not going to be a runner with the ball like Matondo or anything like that. So he needs to try and find a way to get the best out of him over this next 6 games. And it'll be a test of his managerial skills, that's for sure. Listen, I'll let you go, guys. There are a couple of things happening, so I'll let you get cracking. And thanks for taking my call again.
No problem, mate. No problem.
Catch up with you later. Cheers, cheers, Linda. See you later, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, Stuart.
Bye.
Is that fair?
I'll let you go, guys.
If Silva had put the runner performances that the young lad who came out the B team and done it, do you think he'd still be in the first team?
Well, you're watching it. He's been no better than McCausland has he? One can't get a sniff. Had an injury, but McCausland can't get a sniff, can he? Different sides, but Silva's not done anything special, has he? Nothing to warrant. I know we haven't paid it, but nothing to warrant his price tag or to say you've got a £35 million player and nothing to make you think, keep him playing. He'll be doing that. Maybe his only grudge might be that what does Dessers have to do to get dropped so that he can get a chance in the middle? Might be his only argument. But out on the left, definitely not.
I think Dessers must be the one with the photographs now and the manager, if that makes sense, Linda.
The thing is, Ox, is who else you're going to play as your focal point. I know there's perhaps somebody like Silva you could play there, but I don't know if the team maybe play there when he first came in, and I don't know if we thought he was he was kind of doing all right as the focal point, number 9. I don't know. With Dessers, when you think back to Danilo, when Danilo came back from the facial knock and he got his fitness, he was starting ahead of Dessers, and I think that told you everything. I think Clement saw Danilo as maybe being the first choice pick there. And unfortunately for Danilo, he picked up that injury. And don't get me wrong, Ox, he had missed a few chances as well, and we just haven't seen enough of wee Danilo, and hopefully we'll get him back fully fit for the coming season. But Dessers is playing a lot more because of what's available to the manager, and we've got somebody like Kamar Roof that just can't start a game, and he came on yesterday too. Dessers is very, very fortunate to be playing the amount of minutes that he has, Ox.
Aye. Listen, when he's done all right, we've said he's done all right, and we've been fair to him, JM. But yesterday, with the piece, his touch and his finishing, again, along with other players, his performance was atrocious. We didn't just lost because of him, because if we'd have kept a clean sheet, we'd have won the match. But he didn't help, did he?
Yeah, no, everyone's like his responsibility is to put away chances, and it's not like there's been games when we said he's been unlucky, he's not had a chance, so you can't judge him, and he's put work in. Hibs at home, for example, didn't get much, but he worked hard, ragdolled him, done his bit, but he got the chances yesterday and he never put them away. So you've got to criticise him. He deserves to be criticised, and he didn't contribute in any other way. So what more can you say apart from, like many others on the pitch, it was a woeful performance, really.
Aye. We'll just try to be fair and critique the match as we see it, Linda. We can't. It's very difficult to say that people played well or they done okay. I mean, I've said Cantwell was maybe 5.5, maybe 6 at a push. That's how I've seen it. The rest were less than 5 collectively. Maybe Jack Butland 5, and that's maybe arguably he's lost 3 goals, Linda. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to criticise Jack because of the season that he's had, but and I don't mean to be unfair, but I just think over the last few, see since all the England chat, Ox, and I might be totally way off the mark with this. I don't think. I think he's not saved some of the shots that he had earlier on in the season, and I don't know whether all the speculation around that. I mean, it must affect you to a certain degree. But there's been some goals recently that we've all said that Jack himself would probably been disappointed. However, the defence in front of him were just woeful, Ox.
No.
Look at how exposed he was at times yesterday.
And maybe that's been the picture all season, and we've got carried away, Giant, because let's be honest, if we were voting for player of the season, arguably it would be Jack Butland, wouldn't it? And that is that right?
Yeah, it probably is for consistency, and even then he's tailed off. But throughout the season, and maybe he's been masking some pretty poor defending, and not defending comes from everyone. I agree. Obviously, the actual defenders have been woeful, but it comes tactically as well in our shape and just how we're being overran or whatever. And again, he's not getting any luck for the second, for the equaliser for the second. What a great save he made with his foot. I'm now getting caught up because unfortunately they scored 3 goals and it all rolls into one. But was it the third equaliser or the second?
I think it was the second one. He made a good save, and then the
what a save he made with his foot, and just pure desire. It goes to a Ross County player because we're doing the traditional point and expecting somebody else to get there. So he's not being backed up. But I agree with Linda. There's been a drop in performance or a drop in confidence, but something's changed. Maybe he's just fed up of what's in front of him.
Mm-hmm. Aye. A lot of the debate will switch. Well, hopefully if we get back in one of ways to Wednesday, people start discussing what the priority is, Linda. But once again, we've gave ourselves a big job to do in the summer, haven't we?
Yeah, Ox, we have. And I think we've all said that even if we go on and win the league, even before yesterday,
the job's still the same, isn't it?
Aye, it was always going to be, Ox, because we just think, I mean, it is miraculous what the manager's done, how he turned it around, and there was going to be a big job again in the summer, and it is obviously that'll be something to talk about later on, as we approach the summer period and that. But it'll all come down to finances, and players. People say we need a clear out, but you've always said this, Ox. Players are they hold all the cards, and clubs have got to want to buy them. So it's not as easy just to move players on. But, I think the manager will not be under any illusions as to what he's got in front of him, Ox, and, the challenges that lie ahead. And I think we've got to still remember what he's done since he came in. And, who knows, as you say, Ox, we get the win on Wednesday and we just try and push on from there.
No, there's no white flag in this house, Giant, but you have to keep going, and this is what, you need to show the cojones now.
Weird thing, momentum, isn't it? If results had gone slightly different and we had made, I know it's if buts and babies, but say the results were reversed and we went into winning Wednesday and a point behind it, we would have been buzzing and pumped, wouldn't we? But the fact that we kind of turned it around so quickly, we're disappointed to be in this position. And I think it was Stuart maybe earlier about being positive. Every Rangers supporter would have bit your hand off for this situation when Clement came in. And it's hard when the performances have been as poor as they have been. But I find myself between a rock and a hard place because I really want to be, I know we've been critical, but I really want to go in on a few of these blokes. And a few of these blokes I really don't like at the moment. But we went on Wednesday, we're still only a point behind with 5 games to play. And what do you do? Because there's a few of them that don't deserve to be playing here. But they could also win as a title.
Aye, man, you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. No. But listen, when I think back and I look at the fixtures, the last time I think we played well domestically was maybe against Hearts. Ibrox, yeah.
Yeah, blew them away quickly. And that was.
And then you've got to accept it, but played reasonably well against Benfica. Away from home.
Yeah. Because we beat Hearts. Yeah, we beat Hearts at home 5-0, Ox, and then we went away to Killie, didn't we? We came back from the goal down, we won 2-1, and that was absolutely terrific. And we were, we were buzzing after that game, and then we had the Motherwell defeat. And I think since then they're just not played We have obviously managed to get a couple of victories, but if you look at the overall form and the goals that we've been conceding, it started to go a bit pear-shaped.
I'm going to be honest. I mean, but we would have quite happily not played well at all and won the last 2 games.
100%, and being my age, being just a couple of years younger than the pair of you, I can't really remember sort of, if you like, being a long time ago, that's specific in the Walter Smith era, the second time in regards to the runners and that. But what I'll tell you is they were average teams that just won games of football, and it gets forgotten about. But the problem is we're not performing, and we're looking for the complete performance. But you need to be stringing together games and just winning games 2 or 3-0. No one's then asking questions about the performance. I remember watching games back in then times and thinking that was absolutely awful. But you go on to the next one because you've maybe won the game 2-0, but you've been in control of the whole game as well. We're not in control at the moment either, which is frightening. Ross County didn't nick 3 goals there. They outplayed us. The best bit of football in the game, the best bit of football in the game was them in the first half. They might have put about 50, 60 passes together. Don't even remember it, about on the half-hour mark. We're going to get the ball off them.
And if you looked at that, where our forward players were standing, they'd stepped into midfield, they had the whole midfield to pass it about as they liked.
Yeah, but again, lack of pace. We couldn't get after him in the middle. We couldn't get after him. We couldn't go for this, what do they call it, a high press, because any half decent footballer's knocking it around him. We've got no pace.
And that was another thing that worried me yesterday with Dowell going forward. I know he's coming back for an injury. He's hardly played for January, but he doesn't look as if he's got any real pace near her, does he?
No, not rapid. Who? Trying to think on the pitch in the starting team. Seema and maybe Silver.
Well, you've not seen Silver run away from many people, have you?
No, but yeah, and then raw pacing and obviously coming onto the pitch, and obviously Matondo comes on and Sterling. That's it, isn't it?
Matondo came on yesterday, and I know he didn't have long, and it wouldn't be fair to throw him under the bus for yesterday, but he looked as if he was back to where he was before he scored his 2 wonder goals.
Yeah,
but you can't do it every week, Linda, can you?
No. I mean, I think with Abbey, there was a bit of debate about whether he should start because he's done well. He scored 2 goals coming off the bench, but there is the argument that when he started in the past, he's not offered a lot, and he's maybe a better impact player. Ox. Well, I don't know. It's very frustrating.
What worried me was as well at the end. I think it was somebody said, McFadden might have said it in the commentary, but you've got these wide men on that. Again, we had time, but there was no shape at the end, was there, for the last 15 minutes? Matondo was in trying to header the ball at one stage. What's that about? He should have had chalk on his boots. Where's the instructions? Where's the game plan for the where's the game plan? He shouldn't be in there trying to header it, should he?
Yeah, pressure does strange things. I think it was later on yesterday afternoon I heard Paul Merson say, obviously he won a few league titles with Arsenal, so people were saying maybe you have their own views on Merson, but that's another thing. He was a top player in his day, I believe. That pressure does strange things, not only to players but to managers as well. And
right. So, I mean, yeah, I think that's, I wouldn't disagree with Paul Merson on that. I think as well, when you look at the way that your team's playing in front of you, you think, do I need to make changes? But he's not been afraid to make changes in the past. I mean, look at Cantwell getting taken off after, 25-30 minutes in the European game, Ox. He just knew that wasn't working. But yesterday there was so many of them off it. So what could he do? I mean, he couldn't take the whole midfield off, or he couldn't take the whole defence off. I just think when you look at that game, Ox, he was thinking, I'll get them in at half time, get them set, and hopefully, a few instructions like he had to do last week. This is the thing about this team. that's 2 weeks in a row where the first half performance has been just woeful, short of what's required. And I know yesterday you could apply that to the whole game, but how many times have we said this, Ox, about how they start games?
Aye. I mean, let's be honest, they could have been one up in the first minute. We've talked about it earlier on. It's true, Jaya.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row we could have conceded inside a minute, by the way. And it's 2 weeks in a row and we could have conceded inside a minute. And it's under different managers as well. There's something, isn't there? It's different managers. There's definitely something to the core of the players and a mentality. And I don't know quite the answer because we've also seen them turn up. But we've seen them too regularly just look. And I think the word is sometimes disinterested, isn't it? Which is quite frightening and upsetting, really, considering there is a serious title race still on even after Sunday's result.
Yeah, so you're putting it down to attitude rather than ability.
Yeah, 100%. Whether it's attitude or mentality, which I'm sort of classing as two different things, is their bottle going? Or do certain players think they're far too good to be rocking up to Dingwall and play football and think it's just a formality like we've discussed? Or is it a mixture of both? I don't know.
Combination of all things. It's hard to put your finger on it unless you're really in the inner sanctum, Linda.
Yeah. I mean, was it Stuart that made the point earlier on? Somebody did, it might even have been their first caller. Was it David about, is it, the dressing room and, has there been an issue there or whatever? But surely it can't be towards the manager, because the manager has been quite, what he's done has been quite incredible in terms of the turnaround. The players' attitude, Ox, if any of them are going out there, whether it's contractual or whether it's just they don't know what their future holds, that should all be put aside. There's a title to win. So if it's an attitude thing, then I would rather they just left. They cannot, but as we say, that's no as easy said than done. But the thing about that as well, Ox, is that some of them, if it is an attitude thing, they need to be dropped because they're not going to win as the game's going forward anyway. So you might as well give other players a chance.
Aye. And right up with spending our team, with the guys at the leaders, Tav, Golson, Lundstrom, and then you've got Dessers. They're all experienced pros. None of them are young, And you throw in Butland, he's no young either. Borna, no young. There's a lot of experience there. But they just, I don't know, maybe people put it down to cojones, JM.
Yeah. Just have they got it? Have they got the mentality? Do they realise? Like who was it that said one of the callers? Forgive me, I can't remember the name, but it's quite not a bad way to put it. One team was fighting for their careers, weren't they? One set of players were there fighting for their careers, and like you say, a big drop, especially at that level with the money. It's not like the Premiership to the Championship, and you're still going to picking up tens of thousands. You're talking maybe a difference between part-time and full-time employment. And you've got another team there that's got players that are near the end that have still got 2 years left on tens of thousands a week. And you've got two players in that start, and you've got two players in that starting 11 that don't want to get hurt because they've probably got a move coming. And it's evident, isn't it, watching it?
Yeah, and then you've got other two players in your starting 11 on the year players.
That aren't your Yeah, exactly, aren't your players. And then yeah, exactly that. And they're all there and settled and they're getting paid. And that is the difference. Them Ross County players will be on maximum 2-year deals. I imagine maximum. I imagine a lot of rolling deals, maybe the odd player. You look and by the way, and it's also a testament to the guy, their number 10 with the long hair. I forget his name. He's going to Hearts.
Nice
he hadn't given up for. He didn't give up for his team, did he?
No, and he's going to Hearts, aye.
And he's going to Hearts. So
you know what I thought yesterday, just before half time, there was a thought through my head, and I watched the boy Murray take the ball and he laid it after one of his midfield players, and I thought he's got a better technique than their centre.
And he's quick, and he's quicker.
Yeah, obviously, and he's scoring goals in that team as well, and no getting the chances that our centre gets. And you think, where have we gone wrong? I'm not saying the boy Murray's a top player, but some of the players are maybe potentially better than we've got, and it's frightening, Linda, with the wage bill. And so I get, some of the things that people have said in the past, that what we're paying and what we're getting, it's frighteningly bad, consistently.
Yeah, it's quite scary, and there's a few players across the league that play up front that seem to be banging in the goals, Ox. And I know everybody has this argument, but when you come to Rangers, it's different. You get marked differently. You might not get the same space, but I'm kind of getting a bit tired of that argument. We need, we've said this before, we need players, first of all, that can survive in our league and are durable and can play week in, week out in that type of environment on these pitches. Whatever you say, that's not going to change going forward. So you're hoping that Clement is thinking about that. And second, we also need players that can score in this league. And if that means going and giving other Scottish teams money, I'm not talking about millions and millions of pounds, but there surely are some players dotted about the other teams that we can maybe go and get for a reasonable price. Because going abroad, Ox, it might work going forward. Maybe Clement's got a few hidden gems and he's already got people in mind if you can get them to come here. But I would still like us to be looking at the Scottish League. And I know that's another debate, Ox, but you're right about that boy. It's Murray, his name is. I thought he was terrific, so I did.
Right. It's been about Scottish football for a while. I think he'd have moved down south. I don't know if it worked for him. I need to check that out. I might be wrong when I say that, Giant. I might be wrong. Maybe getting mixed up with somebody else.
No, yeah, there's a few. But are you telling me? I'm just trying to think. Are you telling me a front three? I'm just going. I don't like the big. I would say you had the boy Armstrong at Kilmarnock at one side, the boy Murray because he played well, and I'm just trying to think. And even someone like Miovski who scored goals, can score goals for Aberdeen. We ain't got a front three that's more dangerous to say that on paper, have we? And like you say, for the money we're paying, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And the trust we can't say our players are better than them. They've not proven it consistently.
Let's be honest. We never scored a goal for open play yesterday. They scored 3. We scored none for open play.
They scored 4. They scored one for us, didn't they? They put one in for us as well. Yeah, that's what an own goal and a penalty. And we didn't keep cutting them open. We had 2 sitters, didn't we? But we didn't keep cutting them open.
No, it wasn't like the game at Ibrox where, if they'd been doing the part 3 times and scored 3 goals, we could have scored 20. It wasn't like that at all, Linda, was it?
No, it wasn't. And the quality of the football just wasn't anywhere near that either. But as I said earlier, you don't sometimes get that away from home, Ox. It's just all about, getting stuck in and matching the team and having a better shape. I don't think we can get away from that, Ox. And maybe it was tactics, maybe it was the selection. I think it's been a combination of everything, and everybody had a bad day at the office really yesterday.
Oh, aye. It was collective. It was the first half and the second half, Jim. It was you couldn't say it was like last week, but wasn't it? It was both halves.
Yeah, and collective is the right word, and we've said it before, from the staff to the players. No one turned up. And by the way, not only no one turned up, nobody stood up either, did they? When it was going bad, and looking for someone. We've talked about the so-called leadership group. Where even if it was Big Dessers, we weren't playing well. He puts the second away. You're talking that's him done his job. He done it at St Mirren. We weren't playing well again, but he scored a good goal. That won us the game that day. You're looking for him to take a chance. Rabbi turned up last week, got us the equaliser. Nobody turned up in their moment that they all took a chance. And that was the thing. Sometimes you get dug out. You don't always play well. You probably don't play at your best 90% of the season, do you? But you're looking for players to step up because that's why they're supposed to be paid more than the rest of the tip players in this league.
No, I know. So there's more questions and answers, Linda.
Yeah, there is, Ox, and
what would you like if you had one question you could ask the manager, and you wouldn't have to make it public? What would it be?
I think I would like to ask him why somebody like Nico Raskin's not getting any time. It's just somebody that I think, I know he was injured, and there's been times when we Nico he didn't turn it on. But when he first came to the club, Ox, we all thought he's going to be a good player for us, and that's an asset, and we'll actually be able to sell him for a profit. Just something like that. That would be one of the questions I would like to. Is Nico not showing the right attitude in training? Has there been something that's happened? Because he's so far out the picture that it's been quite shocking that he's not even managed to contribute, Ox.
If you had one question, JM?
I'd want to know how many players he feels he needs, but in the summer to continue. How can I word that better? Because what would he need? Yeah, how many replaced? How many?
Who would you like to keep? Who would you like to keep?
Yeah, yeah. There wouldn't be many. Yeah, that would be my main question. I think. What kind of, how extreme a business he thinks he needs to do. And if I could have two, I'd also ask him why Big Sterling's not playing in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah. Well, me and my big mucker Southside, we see that so different in London. It's funny, isn't it?
I think my question about the current situation would be about Nico, but I see what JM's saying. It would be, you would love to know what he really thinks about the squad. What would you ask him, Ox?
I would want to know why he started Scott Wright against that mob last week.
Oh, goodness. And then why was he not in the squad yesterday? Is he injured?
No, I wouldn't have him in the squad yesterday. No. I wouldn't have the. Listen, I think his ship sailed as well. I don't dislike the boy, We've mocked him a wee bit at times. He's come in, understand why we signed him, and he's been part of some decent performances, but he's just another one. It's just no good.
And by the way, he's not eating up a wage bill like some of these imposters either.
No, there's big money getting at the door with so many players, isn't there?
Yeah, there's not. He's been signed cheap.
He's not kicked the ball. You add it up, the wages we're paid, what we're getting. But aye, interesting. I think I would like to ask him what his first signing, what position his first signing would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what his priority is, Linda.
Yeah.
How he sees it.
Yeah.
I was only joking about the Scott Wright one.
No, Scott's maybe playing. Listen, don't be surprised if he is out injured and he pops up again, because goodness sake, you just wonder. And another question would be for me: would you like to be able to drop the likes of Tavernier Golson? And is it a case of like he doesn't want to upset the apple cart sort of type thing, Ox? But
he's upsetting this apple cart.
Right, exactly.
Can I ask you two the question? And if you had to, can you answer the question? You've got one position. You're told you can sign anyone you want. Not the who, but what position would it be? Not asking you to pick a player in a talent pool, but you're told you get what. Where do you think the most important? If we can only have one that's going to improve the position by say 50%, because let's be honest, we need it nearly every position, but you've got to pick one.
I think you go first, Linda.
Well, having I'm a forward-thinking player in terms of like attacking and stuff like that, JM, and I know like the defence is important as well. But see, for me, I would love a top-class centre forward, and I know you've not put any sort of a monetary value on him or anything like that. But for me, I want a striker that's going to score us goals.
No monetary value, just the position, and you could even have picked anyone, even unrealistic, but a striker. I like that. Yeah.
And I think if you asked me that question 9 days ago, I might have went for that. But what I've watched in the last 2 weeks, I think we need a new centre half who's is mobile and is going to become a club captain, because when we're defending, it's just atrocious collectively.
So you don't think there's a centre half there that's a club captain at the moment?
No. Well, do you?
No, I don't. Some people do that.
No. As much as I like Big John Suit and the way he conducts himself, I think with John's lack of pace going forward, as the game's moving on.
I think it was Davey or Stewart that actually said he was spot on, even though he's 100% in a blocker. He gets run ragged a few times, doesn't
he? Yeah. I like Big John, but I think, there's players that are part of your first team and they'll come in and then injuries. And you're always going to get injuries and suspensions. You need a squad. But if you asked me that 9 days ago, I'd have said I was Lindis camp. You're asking me now what I've watched the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Understandable,
Ox, yeah.
Right, okay. Well done, you two. It's been quite difficult. Last word quickly for your good self, JM.
Yep, a really negative one, but I think deserved after the performance. But now ready to look up and try and support the team, obviously, like we will, because there 100% is still a title race on and it's not over.
No, there's no white flag, but we had to critique yesterday's game, and I don't think we'd hide away from it, Linda, could we?
We couldn't, Ox. We had to just, go through the game and critique it as we saw it. And I'd like to say it was therapeutic, but I'll tell you whether that is later on. It was a good show, and I enjoyed being on with JM and your good self. And as you say, onwards to Wednesday, and we just need to take one game at a time.
Yes, here. Thanks to David who joined us, Stuart, Big Alfie Australia. Great to hear from them all. Thanks to your good self, Linda. And the one and only JM. Thanks to Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. Thanks for listening. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10, talking about all things Rangers. Take it away. And remember, no surrender. Take it away. Old School Blue.